How are you doing, everybody? This is my TNA Lockdown 2009 review. Let's get straight into it. I'll skip the pre-show match because nobody got maimed, so it's not worth talking about. We had the X-Escape match for the X Division Championship. Suicide, Jay Lethal, Consequences Creed, Shiek, Abdul, Bashir, and Kiyoshi. This match was fun. Lots of spots, and the crowd was into the spots. They weren't into anything else. Kiyoshi was eliminated first. I didn't understand why they did that, because he's a heel, and then you had three faces in one heel, and it didn't make sense. So then Suicide did a big dive to the outside, and that was a lot of fun. So 2 3/4. There's not much to say outside of that. There was a bunch of spots, and it was fun in the ring. So yeah. Then we had ODB versus Daffney versus Madison, Rayne versus Sojourner Bolt. Sojourner? I don't know. In a Queen of the Cage match. Why it was there, I don't know. I don't know exactly. But yeah, another multi-man match or multi-woman match. Yeah, this match, there's not much to say about it. There wasn't much to it. It was just like an impact match in a cage that went a little bit longer. 1 3/4. The crowd was into what ODB did. That's all there is to say. I'm sorry I can't say anything more about it. Then the match I was looking forward to the most was the three-way tornado tag team match. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles between Mo City Machine Guns, Latin American Exchange, and No Limit, the former champions. I don't know why Hernandez was in it still. He's a heavyweight, so you had to know, anyone with half a brain would realise that Hernandez isn't winning the match. Or LAX isn't winning the match because Hernandez is not a junior heavyweight, so it's a bit fucking silly to book that, you know. But I guess they thought the crowd would be dead for Mo City Machine Guns versus No Limit, and that being, so they had to add some more Americans, so there's some sort of thing in there. Even but all 6 men worked really hard. Hernandez really looked the best in this match. The crowd got into all the spots, not everything in between though, and that's really all there is to say. Mo City Machine Guns picked up the win, which I kind of expected. I knew it would be. I was pretty sure it would be Mo City Machine Guns, but I would have liked for it to have been No Limit, but you know, whatever. What happens, happens. So yeah, I'll give that match 3 1/4, so it was very good. Match of the night so far. Then we had Matt Morgan versus Abyss in a Doomsday Chamber of Blood match. I didn't enjoy this match. I thought it was a bit bland. The crowd wasn't really into it. You know, you'd think with that type of match and Abyss not being able to use weapons, that Matt Morgan would just grab a whole bunch of weapons and use them anyway. But he didn't, and Abyss used the weapons, and then Dr. Stevie Richards came out like we didn't know who it was. Well, that's what Don West said. Oh, it's Stevie Richards, or I think it was Mike Tenay. I don't know, I can't remember. They both sound the same to me. They just scream a lot. But Stevie Richards came out. I don't understand why he didn't do that before Abyss used the weapons instead of after, and cost him the match that way. And there was a ref bump in there. I don't know why there had to be a ref bump, but you know, because it's like a no DQ match, and they have a ref bump anyway. Yeah, whatever. 1 1/4 stars. No, 1 3/4, not 1 1/4. Yeah, that. Yeah. I don't know what to say about it. Then we had the Knockouts title match, 3-way Awesome Kong versus Angelina Love versus Taylor Wilde. I knew Angelina Love was going to win this because they'd been hyping her up to win it. Taylor Wilde, I didn't see her as a chance to win it. And Awesome Kong, well, you know, she'd beaten Angelina Love on the last episode of Impact in like a minute, but it doesn't matter because they're going to give the belt to Angelina Love anyway. Why? I don't know. But yeah, this was just pretty standard. Awesome Kong beat the crap out of both of them. Then Angelina Love and her friend, I can't remember her name, Velvet Sky or whatever it was, they tied her hair to the cage, and then Taylor Wilde hit Angelina Love with a crossbody and like broke her brains, knocked her out, and you could tell she was knocked out because Taylor Wilde went for the pin and she didn't kick out, but they pretended she did, and then they went for it again and they pretended she did, even though she didn't. She wasn't moving. She put her in a chin lock, and they turned it to a roll up somehow. I didn't see because the camera was going everywhere, or I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, that was shit. I mean, it's not entirely their fault that happened. It was just a botch, but it hurt the match quite severely because it made the finish extremely weak looking. It would have been good otherwise if you just had, you know, crossbody and then something actually happened. Computer's telling me to do something, not now. But yeah, 1.5 stars for that. Then the match that was probably had the Team 3D were really hyping up a lot because they kept saying Philadelphia and talking about Philadelphia, so you knew they'd probably have the most heat going to their match. And it really helped the match out because it was a really good match. Well, it wasn't the best match, it was sloppy in parts. I think there was like a 5 count at one point, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then some, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and then before the 5 someone kicked out. I think it was Devon, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, the match was actually quite fun. The crowd heat actually got me into the match. I started paying attention. It made it a bit more exciting because the crowd was actually following what they did. But yeah, this match was quite entertaining. 3 stars for it. I liked it. I really did. It wasn't the best in terms of work rate, but Team 3D got the crowd into it, and that's what mattered. And there wasn't anything too bad in the match that it really hurt it, but there wasn't anything over the top spectacular which made it over the 3 stars that I'm giving it. So yeah, there is that. Then we had the Lethal Lockdown match with Team Jarrett, which is Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Christopher Daniels versus Team Angle, Kurt Angle, Scott Steiner, Booker T, and Kevin Nash. The match was a bit boring. I think it must have been because the crowd wasn't into it, but I wasn't really into it either. I mean, the wrestling was fine. Christopher Daniels and Kurt Angle starting it off. I enjoyed that. It was good. Well, not good, but it was pretty standard wrestling, but it was good standard wrestling because the guys are veterans, and it was enjoyable. And people continued to come in. What I found funny was that Scott Steiner, who's like has no feeling in one of his feet, I think it is, and nearly died last year, and is falling apart and has all sorts of issues, came out before Kevin Nash and still performed better than Kevin Nash. And Kevin Nash walked out and did nothing. He walked out and Joe attacked him on the outside, and then he got into the ring, or hit Joe 2 knees, and I can't remember him actually doing anything else in the match. AJ did another, everyone knew AJ would be doing a stupid dive or something, and he did. He jumped through the top of the cage and landed on the inside of the cage, so he broke the roof of it and fell through. I thought that was a bit stupid, and it didn't really get any kind of reaction when it was initially done. It was like 30 seconds after it, fans started chanting, that was awesome. But it didn't make me go, oh, look at him, he jumped through the thing. I was like, oh, that was a bit silly. It didn't, because I always know AJ's going to do it. I was kind of expecting it. So it didn't really have the desired effect on me. I mean, it was still great, but the match itself as a whole was a bit disappointing, a bit boring at times. 3 1/4 stars for that. Then we had, well, my favourite match. Well, it was the match I was probably looking forward to the second most. Mick Foley versus Sting. Even though these guys wrestled a match had a feud in 1992. I don't know where to start with this. There was some good bits of it. Mick Foley lost his bat, and they locked the cage, and Mick Foley injured his leg, and he couldn't climb out, so he crawled through one of the camera holes and got the baseball bat. It was pretty standard, just brawling around the ring. And then Mick Foley brought in the baseball bat and hit Sting with it a couple of times, or went for him for a couple of times, and that got the crowd a bit more into it. Then he hit Sting with it a few times. Sting did the worst blade job ever. Foley was still bleeding from the last episode of Impact. He got the sock out, put it on his hand, and used that on Sting. But it had barbed wire on it, so it was okay. It was hardcore. And then he hit him did a running knee to the corner to Sting with the baseball bat, and then just climbed over and fell over the top. And Mick Foley's your new TNA champion. Woo! It's 1999 again. It must be. I don't know. I'll give that match 2 stars. I really didn't enjoy it. Here's the thing: when Undertaker and HBK had a boring match, or what people called a boring match, the crowd was into it and they were doing finishes. With this match, it was just nobody was into it. They weren't doing finishes. It was just standard, and it didn't build up to anything. It just kind of fell flat. And also, Bobby Lashley debuted after the Lethal Lockdown match. I don't know why they had him debut after the Lethal Lockdown match in Philadelphia when people were expecting Taz. The ECW fans, this would probably have the most 2 ECW chants broke out that I counted. And then, 2006, let's go back in time, Bobby Lashley won the ECW title, and the fans turned their back on him. Like, literally turned their back on him. Stood up and turned their back when he won the ECW title at December to Dismember. Bad place to debut Bobby Lashley. I think he's better for TNA than Taz is, because he can wrestle, and You know, he's decent, but you know, I feel sorry for the bastard getting debuted in Philadelphia. That's my review. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. Disappointing. The build was good, but for the pay-per-view, but it was disappointing, man. Thanks for watching. Bye.